Good morning, everyone. First of all, apologies for the delay. We were having the runway show there in the activity area. But any case, PJ was also there. Now that he's here, we have our two speakers of this session. One of the highlights of IHG Affairs is its informative seminar sessions. And this year again, we've had a range of topics which were covered during our seminars. Talking about trends and forecasts, well, this is one of the most sought after and most much awaited sessions of our seminars. And we have Mr. PJ Aranyador, our very own from the EPCH family designer. He is a designer of world-class fame. One of the most relevant topics of our seminars he's going to cover. And he is a celebrated Filipino lifestyle designer of international fame. He's also an eminent merchandiser and branding consultant with interdisciplinary design capabilities for home and fashion, green, ethical, responsible, sustainable, social, and innovative design and product development. His portfolio spans over 25 countries. PJ has been honored with prestigious honors and awards time and again. And let us see what key colors, moods and palettes, patterns, materials, designs he has in mind for the coming seasons. PJ Aranyador.
Thank you very much. So the spring-summer 2012, there are platforms for them. It's really design and lifestyle and fashion going modern, or it's going towards the primitive fashion, no? So, but made modern. So they decode this because I think there are zillions of ideas from the past that can be renewed for the future. So these are images that goes back to history and society as we enter the 20th and 21st century. The image of this man seems strange, but why is it so? It's because we're entering into the period of the millennials. And the millennial is going to enter into a period of zettabyte, which is the new concept for us who are probably in the industry for 30 years. We have to really down age and tailor fit our consumer products to the future, because 60 to 70% of the world is very young, including India, no? Which is the same about the proportion in population. So we believe that the citizens of the world will be member of the communities because of the internet, because one of the driving forces is really the internet that has a lot of access to a lot of people around the world. We believe that geographical coordinates will just be a pigmentation of the past. No, we believe that the inspiration comes from very big things and comes from also very, very small things. And we believe that good design will change the world as it always did. And we believe that design will be the future of tomorrow. No? So then we go into the, I'm sorry. So we go into the first part, which is what is the common ground. As we say, there are 3 forecasts. No? This presentation is very, very long. So I just try to touch each maybe few slides for you to get the ideas for each 3 looks, no? So that you will be able to just have a synopsis of what's going to happen. No? So I closed that already. So, all right. I'm sorry about that. Now, WGSN is one of the world's forecasting agencies, which is based in London, and you are fortunate enough that EPCH subscribes to this because it's very, very expensive. So the information here will be available from EPCH. You can keep in touch with Amla. Something is wrong, it's not reading it. So let me close some of the slides if you don't mind. It's here. So, all right. The first one is common ground. So common ground is based on the concept of going rural. No, I think things will be rustic because in the 5-year span there was a look called the primitive. No, when things were not as as industrial as they look. No? Excuse me, huh? No, it's hanging. Last summer, in the same seminar, we had a kinship. Kinship is now translated into allyship. No, allies. So if we review a little bit, it's about global connectivity, that each one wants to have a piece of souvenir, where the biggest brands in the world, like Chanel, are working with artisans. So there are inspirations like old weaves, which has turned into a very promising look with leather coming from the natural technique and material. These are transformation for making the otherwise traditional techniques into modern. No? So all of these elements that are exploring designers into a bigger picture because the trend is millennium and time is so fast. No? Something like that. No? I think many of us experience this, that the speed of time has been very, very quick, and anything that's environmental, that goes towards anything that's organic. The shape doesn't really mean anything, but reminds you of nature will be forecasted, and patterns will be a very, very big stage because it's indicative of the geographical source of that product itself. No? So the global communities will drive the lifestyle, which is going towards bigger than life shapes, and the crossroad, because of intermarriage, because of technology, there will be a lot of blending and melding. And while we're worship busy, the word busy, everybody's just trying to hit schedule, running around like this. You know, parents are always complaining to their children, why are they slow? The designers and the forecast say we'll have to go back to slow living, slow food, slow fashion. Slow fashion is really a big thing where the manufacturing is more artisanal. The garments and the accessories are more artisanal to remind us to stop glorifying the word busy. So these borders will melt, and the perspective will go really artisanal, anything that has the luxury of time, so that we create something that trends while the others are crowdsourcing on the internet. If you know, Facebook is a crowdsourcing thing. So what is the deep WGSN forecast is that we are familiar with this. You know, the selfie and everybody takes a picture, because your marketing tool will be in your phone in the future. Your banking, whatever you do will be just right in your hands. No? So, but what's the common ground? The common ground is that we will have a new local business which is towards building the local economy, because exports will eventually be down because everybody is protecting its own industries. No? So building that local industries has formed actually the fairs around the world, where in Asia there's already local sourcing like you have in India, in Thailand, in the Philippines and elsewhere, because there's such a thing as indie commercialization, which means independent commercial, which is towards the rural area. Here's my work in the Philippines. This is for women, very, very far rural areas. So we create new concepts with them, giving them raw materials which are new, like these are all discarded textile that they use for handloom. No? So it's the picture of these women from the villages that creates a new look that connects to the world. So we have the allyship, which is, it's time now to build relationship with the artisans and the exporters. No? So there are dialogues, like for instance, the families are bringing their children to touch animals in the farm and let them experience how it is to live in the rural areas and slow down a bit. No? So, but here, the real relationship is that everybody's going to be connected to relationships through the internet, where like Europeans go to Asia, like in my country, they build homes for the very poor people. So what is the villages will be able to find also their cultural roots, and they will have a co-approach towards breaking this barrier, so that the traditional techniques will become meaningful in our modern lives, like utilitarian. Here's my project in the Philippines using only organic dyes, because the acid dye has really I have experienced many women are blind already because we use acid dye. Here we use coffee, we use mango leaves in the Philippines to train the women to use natural dye. No? so that buyers are looking for this. I'm also teaching young people in the Philippines to use indigo. It's all natural dye, and it's a very, very old century old technique in shibori from Japan, which is not Philippines, but it's a Japanese technique that we do, which is also the same in India. So, like for instance, training the young people to again understand the roots by hand painting pineapple fiber, for instance. No? And recruiting women, teach them traditional way to do appliques and embroidery. This one is a dyeing technique in embroidery and beadwork in the Philippines, which we actually it's a three-dimensional beadwork, no, which was used by the Miss Universe organization as part of their help to the rural area, and dyeing natural dyes. Now, and going back to the endemic design, the roots, because this has meaning. These are the mountains, these are the animals that surround them, and connect them to the world itself. So we go around the world in the Philippines, bring our indigenous textiles. This is in Australia, and we have the forum with the students, letting them understand how important that the cultural heritage will die if the young people will not support them. So all the traditional techniques, let's say these are my students, that I teach them how to do the traditional beadwork so that they understand, well, the process is actually computerized in the beginning. So we go back, old toys from wood, instead of letting the children tinker with their electronics, no? And the same with the homes. It goes back to more rustic, no? And there is the emergence of the community commerce, no? Where you have the deglobalization. Before it was globalization. Now we deglobalize because we think the new localization is going to go through who you love. Who you love is what you do in life, no? Which is towards handicrafts, where we do really smaller businesses. Because I think in Europe, this is what their platform is all about as well, trying to help those who have been forgotten, the small and the medium enterprises. So that individual commercialization will help the dyeing industry. In the Philippines, we have a problem of succession where the weavers are 50, 70 years old and they cannot see anymore. So we're training young women to weave, otherwise our industry will die. So the young, the traditional weave are used for modern usage, like for young boys that go to the beach instead of using them in the traditional fashion. I think we did this in the runway, where we'll be able to use the traditional Indian textile into a modern concept. In the Philippines, there are the tribal, which like the same in India, no? So we go to them, we ask them how can we be able to market their products without not sabotage their cultural heritage. So we have a project called the Great Women, which is really in the villages. The same in Kenya, same in Peru, where I work. No, these are all traditional work where I work with Europeans, mostly on the job training. Same in India here. You know, when you ask one of the ladies here, the young girl, I asked them, what do you like to be in the future? They said, sir, I would like to be a teacher. A teacher, not to teach the formal academic lessons, but to teach the other young people after them how to weave and how to do chicken curry and all that. So that because the tradition has to live on, even in the cultural context. They say if people will stop buying something cultural, the environmental will suffer, because we use cotton, we plant. The rippling effect will be 100 times. If nobody will buy cotton or will buy chicken curry, who will going to plant cotton, right? So the agri-based, which is towards planting, is preferred by buyers than extracting. Extracting is like you mine, you get stones, you remove minerals from earth. No? So in Colombia, to the society, there's this slow food. This is how I eat every morning to support people, and I have interaction with, including food, like how we are to prepare containers, like this is bamboo. No? I have a restaurant in the Philippines that sells only slow food, a retail which sells only slow fashion. And we program all of this towards the environmental and the rural communities. In the Philippines, we have the urban garden volunteers, which is to plant in the cities, because people are already in the concrete jungle. And then we teach young people basket weaving and all that, no? So to sustain the next generation with their interest. There will be branded communities in Europe. No? That would include how they will be able to serve through the internet. And there will all be certain time to export. Then you will a producer who really takes care of your artisans as part of your cooperation. So for instance, IKEA is going to put Syrian refugees carpet already by 2019 in their stores to help the women, mostly all done by women. In South Korea, they're going to put a border underneath the ground where there is no militarization, meaning to put the South and the North Korean in harmony under the ground. This is in Canada, where the rainforest, the wildlife is protected away from the bustling of infrastructure. In London, the designer builds some module to put all the other things together of other works of the designer as a collaboration. So we say we go, no, instead of ego. The community is becoming smaller. So the development of new communities will have communal spaces, which is already building up in Europe and elsewhere. For instance, there's that revival of the traditional culture for tattoo, no? Which is for them a symbol of beauty. She's from the Philippines, and we're featuring him in our next show next week in Manila Fame, because she's going to demonstrate the traditional way of tattoo, and the designers are taking their patterns from that tattoo. No? So because we have the long tradition of tattoo, like maybe in India, where you can be inspired with patterns that you can put on your products. Just a reminder that a product can have a sense of origin. No? And then there's this in Holland, where the apartments are going to have schools where there's a market coming from the farm. No? And now in Italy, they're working on sand and glue to come up with some innovative furniture making. That's what you call material innovation. And there are technical, traditional techniques for using local material. This is made from corn. This is water containers, no? That is biodegradable. My reading glasses is made from corn. This is biodegradable. If I throw this in the environment, this will just blend. This is not plastic. The same manner in the Philippines, we have already plastic bags made of corn. It will become biodegradable if you throw that in the garbage. Give it 3 months, not immediately, but it will be a biodegradable thing. No? So these are innovations that will come. So like here, there's like art has come back again together with the industries. So many of the exhibitions are now in the gallery. So because the inspiration is how art, you know, coming with something that is made by hand and the sense of origin. So this is Berberis and Henry Moore. And then in Bolivia, they discovered a net that will help heal the heart problems of children. So the knitwear become a technique on how medicine can move forward. So the mass influencers is that it's all about journey, the journey of people, of culture, of environment, and it's also branding the home. Women are cooking more traditional food. One time Mr. Kumar said, PJ, let our producers produce more chopping boards, because it's really very popular, because now they're gone into traditional way of cooking. No osterizer, no electricity, but by hand, because that's a way for slow food. So these women are actually going to the traditional way of preparing food for their husbands and their families. Now in the art is where the pixelized, it's in the computer. Here is a collaborative work of all the images from the world put together online. and that can be a good graphics for you, for children, for youngsters, for the 30 and below to understand what it is for them in the future. And then there is the rural roots. In China, they put the charming China. It's amazing how China has come up with new set of designers whom I interact very well, and they speak very good English. 15 years ago, I was in Shanghai, and barely these children can speak English. Now they can speak English as much as you could Indians, no? So they're really doing a good job on their industries itself. The pop-up, so this is just like everybody going more physical, biking rather than going to take their cars. And Facebook, there's a summit for that already there are people interact live and all this, no? Facebook has become the main event of all the things put together online. So what are the starters for common ground is that you your internet will go to the local economy, and who are your allies that you can tell your story. You know Tams, the footwear. For every pair of footwear you buy, the same pair goes to the child in need, to the community. I think the world likes that concept. No? Do you improve your community commerce? Do you have a common ground, which is actually the common ground for everybody in this world now is really towards artisanal, going towards the cultural roots. No? So am I too fast? I have the area of the mouth. I talk very fast. So now let's go to the other trend, which is in touch. No? In touch is about how the world look at ourselves with all the threat to our races, to what we eat, to how we see medicine, how we extend our life, no? How people become so anti-wellness or wellness. The anti-wellness is, you know, all of this injection in their faces. You have all of this, you know, body augmentation and etc. And some end up miserable. You know how moody these people are and how intimate a home can be. There was a trend before cocooning, no? But there are little discoveries of our health. No? For instance, eating papaya seeds is better than eating the fruit itself. No? Because the seed is anti-cancer. Now we're seeing what is inside to express that in products. So some products now are just like the shape of your heart, the shape of your tooth. No? So that there are some elements of the expression of how these health issues can be programmed. So here, the fluidity, you see all this product that looks like cells underneath the microscope. No? So here, the anatomy of it looks weird, but it will come in the future, no? Because this is still 2 years ahead from that. So how do we interpret this product? In your textile, it can be the bokli, you know, the texture that's really big, so that it looks like a bit more organic. No? So here, the liquid form, as if this is plasma in your body. You understand? You know, when you have blood cells and all that. Actually, I see these forms already from Indian exhibitors in jewelry, fantastic ones. No? We just had a show with them. And then this is the big issue for the next thing to come, iridescent. No? We see this also in Maison in Paris. No? Something that shimmer, something that reminds you of, pardon the word, saliva, your fluid from your body, that has a little glitter from the light that really look iridescent. This one for me is one of the hottest looks. No? And then the color chroma. The chroma is like coming from the computer, no? Where it changes its color. Burnt metal, you know, the blue torch metal, like that. You know, the different kinds of gemstone colors and vaporous effects. This is coming from the omnibus clouds, something that really just reminds you in nature in a subtle way. You know? And then you have the transparent. The transparent, and actually not some are plastic, but this can be silicone, you know, soft silicone, but some are really innovative materials using clear applications in packaging, no? And in garments. Then bulging, you see this, doesn't mean anything. They look like stones, they look like little teardrop, they look like little animal. As long as it's organic, the buyers are always saying, we want something not too specific as well. So the organic shape can be also a good direction. No? So we have, the colors have become very, very soft. Pastel is going to be the next big thing. You know? It's almost like not their color, you know, that's why they call the nude. Why? There is an emergence of what they call raw packaging or zero packaging or nude packaging. I have a friend in the Philippines, she's a girl. She goes to McDonald's with her own container, and I said, why, you're so strange? And she said, because I only want 1 liter of garbage for my entire 1 year. So she brings her container, she said to McDonald's, don't use that plastic, don't use that package, put it in my container. And she just conserved a lot of packaging. And on the other hand, in the Philippines, we start to do artisanal packaging, where we do away with printing. Instead, because we do the artisanal product, we use only leaves, and the leaves will just be thrown away. On the other hand, there are people who are with the nude packaging, which is similar to India. You know, in Mumbai, you carry, how do you call this food thing, right? Yes, and it's logistics. People bring that food and get the container and its systems, which is fantastic. There is no packaging there, right? You deliver the food, you clean the food, but how can we make that container nicer, a bit modern, a bit young, because that one is traditional. Those are some of the challenges, no? Because I think the world will understand the purpose of that, no? Biological connections, beautiful shapes that can you do in metal. You know, that is really under the microscope behind what you see in your body, the shape of your brain, the shape of your intestines, whatever. It's to your fancy, no? Then adornment, something that, you know, away from the tattoo, there are other inspirations from the past, especially in India, no? So that's in touch, no? Then there are the big ideas, which is be true. Just the product itself, what is the material, no? Which is under embellished. No? Get smarter. These are like products that you can fold. You know, the cost of the containers have really gone up. If you can compress, knock down your product into panels. I have this video, but we don't have time. Fantastic. The 12 best works in the world, where you can compress everything, even your apartment, because you live already in a condominium unit. You know, for me, this traditional furniture from India that can be only moved by 12 people will find its market less of that, because people are not living vertically and you live alone by yourself. So if the product can be compressed, then you have a better global market, especially that the container costs have gone up. So enable individuality. These are multi-purpose products that you can turn into something else. Be local, you know, trying to get source from local because they're sustainable. And then make a home, you know, crafting what is the environment. But you see the color, it goes towards the nude, naked, raw, no? Almost not there. Right? Because some of this, you know, they say if you have a fiber that is not acid dye, why can you not have a fiber that's only natural? You know, like even in finishes. Now in the Philippines, we just rub the cane or the textile with stones or ceramic, and that's it. No, we don't put anything else, because then the product will become green, rather with so many processes in hand. No? So those are some of the big ideas. The color analysis is really towards how the colors involved. No? So this one, it's more of the cloudy, chalky ones, no? Rather than the bright ones. All right. And then the color evolution traces the colors from the past season. So red has become a bit more deep towards the sense of you call this rural. No? Yellow is coming back. No? 5 years ago it was popular, and then the red, orange towards the ointment pink colors, and then almost not their pinks, no? And then of course you will have the driftwood, the color of nature. Purple has toned down a bit. That's why I'm saying for spring, summer, it'll become a little bit more mellow. It'll become a little bit less shocking colors than in the past. Green is the most important color, which is the Pantone color authority had it last year, but it's going to be towards the, fatigue. You know this olive green, that color direction. You see that in the runway already. But the gray will still be there, but tinted with blue, because the tinted blue was very popular. No? And then of course your pastels, which is one of the colors that I see a lot, is the butter. No? Butter color in the pastel color. So then the key colors for each group will be yellow. You watch out for that. Blue cadet, no? Riot red, and then this is the green that is very popular. Rubber plant, no? And then lupin lilac, very very pale, no? So those are the colors that will be popular. And the print and pattern, do we have time? Tell me, because I can cut my presentation anytime here, because you can get the others. The common ground for the materials, woven leather, please. No? I've seen a lot of leather bags that are woven, but in pastel colors. And you see this marriage of pastel with dark color. Craft is key. No? You focus on organic motif and celebrate simplicity. No? Just show the texture by itself, no? And go towards the pastels. So you have key directions towards the farm. No? Not necessarily Indian, but European. From the prairie to crafted weaves to minimal markings, no? Eyelets, organic the shapes, and even beadwork. No? So artisanal. Meadow means towards the X-ray looking, very delicate, refined florals, no? Botanical prints, but X-ray, negative, no? Like for instance, it's like almost not there as well. On the other hand, you have the busy blooms, but I think for India, you really have to make them fully beaded, for instance, to make them a sense of origin. No? But for me, the big thing is something that's crafted, woven, including we call massive weaves. Very, very huge weave. You see this? These are cushion covers, but the weaves are bigger than life itself. Right? So it came from the furniture already, no? So minimal markings, refined, almost not there, but it has a sense of meaning. Maybe it's your skin, maybe it's your hair, maybe it's the markings of the traditional Hindu, we call this calligraphy, no? And then chevron pattern, chevron is like letter Z, letter Z, has come into the rhombus. Rhombus is triangular, no? So this is one of the key patterns you can use, and you have plenty in the Indian origin. Consider also heavily decorated but made by hand. No? So these are inspirations for you to go also simplified, which is the organic fragments which we discussed, something that really doesn't mean anything. And eyelets. Eyelets is punctured. No? Anything that you have fretwork on ceramics or something that's really punctured. No? So the common ground, you have flora and fauna, something that's really delicate looking rather than too because now, the summer 2018, it's the midnight jungle, which is the base background of your fabric or of your material is dark, like black or midnight blue, and the florals are bright. Now this one is more delicate, alright? So then the artful craft, no? Towards the print. When you make a collection, usually, when you look at the designers in Europe, the first thing they're going to launch is their pattern. It's not about color, it's not about shape, it's about finding your pattern first. If you know, who's this Italian? Like a mirror, because each product has an imprint of the artisan who make them, and that's what makes it charming, you know, that imprint that make it really. I have this Italian friend. She said when the consumers are looking for products, they're not looking anymore for perfection, they're looking for charm, no? Because perfection is industrial. You know, if you have a ceramic that's really industrial, people will say it has a high carbon footprint because it uses a lot of electricity and machines. But if you see something that's made by hand, the carbon footprint that is low because it uses only less electricity. You know what I'm saying, right? So all of these prints that you have there, and then for the textile forecast, because most of you are into there, it's going towards simple practical fabrics like cotton, organic they may be, and little nice prints, no? Techniques that are bigger than life, no? Like weaving your textile, the homegrown wild look, no? A little bit of phrase, a little bit of applique, a little bit of we call patchwork, no? All right. So you have that range of color, but you see that it's almost cloudy. It's almost like, you know, in the rural areas, you have that nature by itself. So that little fretwork, you see that in the fabrics, no? And I think India has a lot of that. That little delicate of nature. Speaking of how nature has suffered a lot, no? The little that sun-faded patina, right? That you put it in the sun. You see, now many are going towards the not using washing machines because of the bleach, because of the noise, because now even in Italy they try to now put their fabric in the sun because they discovered that the how you call this, the one we put to make the scent, fabric softener, and all of this actually can cause cancer in our skin. No? So even this perfume in the environment, they cause cancer. That's why you open your windows, get the sun. Same with the fabric, no? Because it's environmentally correct. All of these little prints, no, that's not almost there. That little imperfection in your textile, manipulate them, no? Don't let them look like industrial in the past. Surface stitching, I think this is where India is good at. No matter how charming, no, the basket construction was saying, no, cut your fabric, let other women who are not weavers weave them with their hands, no, so that you increase the labor force in that community, no, so that you give work for everybody. That crafted color, sometimes of the we call it discordant colors. I personally, as a designer, sometimes I don't like matching, no. I like something that's really, you know, we discover sometimes, I go to some artisans and factories and they have tons of materials that they haven't used. So I told one company, I said, let's use all your garbage in your factory, and you know, it translates into about 3 million worth of products that we come up, and the buyer said, we want some more, but sir, these are only repurposed materials. I said, just make one. Now they have to cutting, like, you know, make them into something repurposed. So, delicate, that's the key word, all right? Delicate prints, and then the blooms that really, like, you know, it's like the sun is just rising up. You preserve the nature, some of them with very delicate fibers, and then the grains, no? Something that, again, you go towards the artisanal, matte simplicity. The products are not really shiny as opposed to iridescent, okay? So, because trends have always an opposing yin and yang look. Yeah, alright. So, you tell me if it's my time. No, I'm just cute. So for common grounds, this is for knitwear. Do you like knitwear or no? Because knitwear is the same as textile, no? Or you like this? Who want this? Okay, let's skip that. Nobody wants. It's the same as textile, no? Because packaging, who wants?
Yes.
You want packaging, okay. Because this group is very diverse. Packaging, again, is like towards celebrating nature. No? They have to be eco-friendly, but there's nothing like simplicity, no? Which is what we're saying, made by hand. Something that's really unexpected. Like for instance, you use hand print instead of printing that using machine. There are so many people in rural areas who can do stamping like that, no? On paper, on fabric, etc. No? The traditional way. Those are the colors. The materials can be earthenware. It can be recycled wood with glass. Glass is preferred because it's the world's best recycled materials, no? And then the finishes are really matte, in contrast with something, and then you put a little tie on, something like little natural materials. But again, the delicate look is there, like traces of this floral and and the surface texture is embossed and also very delicate with your black or vegetable, how you call this? Like that. I think India has that, a lot of that, no? And then towards really very, very pale colors, no? You see this blue, no? The blue that we had, and the pink, infant pink, all of that, and that little droplet form that's like a blood vessel, no? And then you have your simple shapes, no? Including earthenware. Right? Now, with decorative packaging, nature is always there. They say if you don't know what's happening in trends, just go to nature, you can't go wrong. You'll always be correct. No? It can be flowers, leaves, insects, it doesn't go out. It's always omnipresent, even in the beginning. No? It's always safe. Then you have also something that you see that he makes a print of leaves instead of using machine or die cut, no? Forming things that are really made by hand, which is towards the artisanal, because it's consistent with most of the product that are made by hand, no? I close that so we can go faster. Manifesto, this is another trend, which is just manifesto is actually the opposite of simplicity. So this one is really very, very young, a lot of mixing the modern contemporary computer generated images with something that is really more graffiti. No? Graffiti was a text trend before, but here is a riot of color. Very, very young, no? But the creativity is more like sporadic. It's more like you throw that in there, but it's still under control, no? So the graphics here are almost like a cross-cultural, from the ghetto in New York, mixed with African, mixed with Peruvian. Really, really creative. No, for the young people, sometimes we call this the computerized aided design. No, all right. So this one would be able to give you some sense of connection to the young people. No, doodles. No, anything, just simple, and then raw collage. You just put anything there. Sometimes repurposed materials, no? Paper, fabric put together, artistic expression that doesn't mean anything. It's just a graffiti, but a little bit more under control, no? And then commercial directions, which are like, some of these are inspired by paintings in the past, and they reinvent them to create something that are their own already. So for homes, the walls are decorated, the cabinets are painted, the tables are painted, The objects are just splashed with colors. No? It's like the graffiti from the streets that you will see. No? Then there's like what you call category for life hackers, copying others' work but putting them in new directions. No? So this is like sometimes they clean out a space with empty spaces but put one space with so much energy with visuals and graphics, no? Just to balance it. You see that? Full of energy, visual expressions of young people, but yet there are also some sense of crossover from what is minimal, from what is clear, what is pixelized, what is coming from garbage, what is coming, you know, all this is cross-cultural references, all right? So these are the colors, and the key materials that includes concrete, cement. There's an exhibition here, a young Indian designer that using concrete. Personally, I don't like cement because cement is very expensive. You know, I think this is one of the fault of people. Us in the world now, we are cement happy. We construct our houses with very expensive cement coming how many miles away when you can have mud from your own environment, from your own community, no? So, if there is a calamity and your house is gone, you can build again. You don't have to go far to get the cement, no? This is my way of living as well, that I use bamboo within my environment and I just replace that, no? So, key finishes, something matte, something like texture, something that's not shiny as opposed to iridescent. The patterns are young, now mixing old and new together, color blocking, and the shapes are organic. I think for me, I found that one common ground for the trends towards what is organic. Organic for me is something that doesn't mean anything. In touch, everybody escapes towards spa, towards wellness, towards something that you can wash yourself from too much deadlines, too much work, too much exports, too much money. No? People are retreating away from that, you know. So you go towards a little bit more of serenity, of peace, no? Where the product is very simple. No? It keeps you that feeling of you want to touch it because you're too busy to touch people, to touch objects, to touch things around you. No? It's about feelings. It's about color intensity, but yet so subtle. No? It's about light, no? That coming from the sun. You know, they discovered people are sick because we don't get sun anymore. We are in the office every day. At 8 o'clock you're there. The doctors say, if you have a baby, you bring your baby for some sun in the morning. Because now they discovered, why are you all sick? Because you don't get the sun anymore. Right? It's true, because you know it hits your brain something. Some of these designers have discovered, you know, like in India, or same in my country, the Philippines. Why are these poor little kids are so happy? They're still smiling at you, in spite they have so much less. It's because the sun hits the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus keeps your brain alive and you're happy. That's why they say in the tropics, no matter how maybe life is so depressed, you know, you see nature is beautiful, the fishes are colorful, the animals are running, the leaves are huge and big and like that. You know what I'm saying? Because of that sun. So that's one inspiration, that that sun, the light will be coming as a good way to, as a reference. No? Let people converse again. You know, the Italians say, if you put the color of food in the environment, then people will stop to talk again. In the Philippines, there's a restaurant that says, sorry, we don't have Wi-Fi here. No? Talk to each other. Right? But that restaurant is full. There's no internet connection there. You talk to each other. And there's a hotel there that all the kids with their parents for a vacation, you have to go to the manager. The manager will tell the kids that you only have 15 minutes of internet. The rest you spend with your mama and your papa. Because otherwise, you are on holiday. You're not going to have an internet. No TV, nothing. Alright? So, then, again, the technology that's towards looking at yourself. I notice in India, you are all in your phone.
you know, that has a lot of radiation. Because one of my staff is complaining, sir, I have a headache every day because you are there with 2 phones like that for 8 hours. You're killing yourself with that radiation. And he said, yeah, you're correct, sir, because the phone is already heated on my ears. No? So those are like what the design can do. There is like this designer who puts it's a silicone that protects the phone from overheating. No? Light as a source of inspiration, balance of nature. I think this is where India is very good at with your Ayurveda and all that. You know, I have a lower back pain and I had treated it here by a natural medicine, Ayurveda. I got healed. Everybody was surprised. I was given in the Philippines by a doctor. PJ, you can only work for 1 year. In India, I worked for 3 months because of just natural medicine. Because the doctor said, you know, all of us are like cars moving in the road for 40, 50 years. You don't have oil. We forgot that. So a truck or a car will stop because there's no oil. And here in India, I was just treated with the oil. No? I was able to walk again. New surrealism, something that's like heavenly, something that's really a fantasy. Gentle waves, something for you to just escape, relax. Nature is the most relaxing form. And that light, that source of light, you know, that blue light, no? But that blue light is not the harmful light, no? Colors are really not the usual, no? Mixing together what is unusual. The skin, the feeling, you know, the touch. You know, Sweden, there are doctors, as I say, all of us are all sick because we don't communicate with people anymore. No? So when you go in the office, you ask your staff, where is this? Sir, it's just there. Everybody just there. There's no more eye contact. No? That's why they want people to touch now, rather than just you don't see eye to eye. No? So generous extensions of who you are. You look at your body. And your body, you look that up in the furniture around you, that looks like your tooth. I think in Paris, there's a hotel that you sit on the crown of your teeth as the chairs, like that. That consciousness that we're killing ourselves with work, with too much technology. No? So those are the directions. And then that senses, that soft edges, those are the colors. No? The key materials are here. That includes really industrial, but yet these are organic, no? Like recycled glass, corns, etc. No? So wave patterns, organic. No? We talked to some agents here, buying agents in India, on a forum, and that's what they're also saying. The buyers, especially in Europe, are looking for something that's non-specific, no? Meaning it doesn't really sometimes mean anything. Organic shapes, no? And something that has a sense of origin. All right. Now these are the some of the patterns. Print and patterns, no? Sorial, ombre, Miami style checkered, no? Colors that are from the sun, from the light. All right, I'll just focus because we don't have time. You know, I think you will see the inspiration. Disco strips, no? Like a luminous color. All right, that Miami poolside, refracted light, hypnotic. All right, so. Where is Regis? My time is due, I think. Right, the rest, because my colleague has to talk. No? Who needs accessories? You want accessories? Jewelry? Let me see. Very, very quickly, because I'm over time. Let me see. Here, woven leather, for instance, for footwear. Okay, weave them. And then just go for something that has a sense of craftsmanship. You want to touch it, no? Dynamic designs, and then classic weave. Then for leather, it's going to be crack leather, because last year this was already popular among the Japanese. no? The finishing is cracked and thick, old, like it was the clay that is in the summer sun, natural snake looking, no? But false, no? Nubok is like the processed leather, no? Leather with colors are also in, but naturally dyed. First, no, after the fringes. When everybody has these fringes, the consumers are gagging. No, too much. Alright, so they go for fur. Alright? Then extreme distress. No, including the rubber shoes. I've seen already Adidas coming with distressed canvas, beautiful ones. No, like some of them are really primitive looking. No? So you have also grained leather, patent leather, naturally dyed. No? Anything that's naturally dyed would be a good one. And then calf hair, no? And then woven leather, again, especially for bags, no? Including your rubber shoes. And expressive services, tie-dye, ombre on your footwear, on your shawls, on your bags, chromatic weaves, changing its color, raw relief. And then gingham is coming back. Gingham because it's always associated with what is countryside, no? Artisanal food, rural lifestyle. Weathered jute, of course. Well, jute is always very popular around the world because it's very sustainable material. No? Linen, because it's friendly to the environment. In the Philippines, you have I think she's British, discovered leather pineapple. She patented it. No, the pineapple is coming from the debris or the discarded pineapple leaves and making to a summer leather that you breathe, your skin can breathe. No, the chair stripes. Stripes is always good for summer, always. No, fluid silk, and then corduroy is coming back. But the corduroy is a bit brushed, no, with matte finish. Remember, as opposed to the iridescent. Oh, there was no jewelry there. The jewelry is somewhere here. Maybe here. Sorry? Here's the jewelry. Okay.
What is the trend?
If you don't mind, this is my last because the jewelry again is about something organic. All right. And again, I think there's that the pink brass. No, there's a name for that. Right? That doesn't mean anything. All right, like this, air and towards the environment. No, the pink metal, and then tactile. No, and then anything that's unexpected, wood with concrete, with stone, leather with metal. Sometimes they all like found objects that you put together. No, a scrap wood you put with your stone, etc. And transparent. No, it's still the same, that there's a reflection of light, okay? And then demi-fine. From the very big ones, the manufacturing will save a lot of materials and will go towards a very delicate jewelry, no? Almost refined. Brushed metal, you have that, all right? And then lightweight titanium for eyewear and even your handcuffs, etc. I like this look, the fluid plastic or brass or other materials, no? Something that reminds you of your body. And then organic stones, no? I'm doing a river stone jewelry in the Philippines. That's our only, no holes, zero electricity, no locks, nothing, just all tie them together, no? Tooled wood, no, for jewelry, maybe earrings and bracelets that you can use as coming from wood. Jelly, it looks like it's again bubbles, you know, from your body. Air bubbles like that. Something big, something transparent, something like your body, no? Crypt texture, right? And then you have chromal, meaning the colors change subtle. No? Solid rubber, which is soft towards the almost not their color. All right, that's it.
One second,
so,
Respected sir, so can you please show us the slide with the weaving?
of what?
Or slide with the weaving?
The what? Sorry, the what?
Weaving.
Weaving?
Yeah, we have left with the slide.
Which one? This one? This one?
No.
This one?
Earlier.
Excuse me.
Yes. This one? Yeah, you can look at it later. All right, I hope you have fun. I'll give my table to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, PJ. Away from our hectic lifestyles, we should get anxiety. We thank him for his presentation, and without any further ado, I request Ms. Erica Micro to kindly make her presentations. She is going to talk about the European market. She has in-depth experience of working with multi-products as well as materials. She is a sought-after reputed consultant on new trends and products and developments with special focus on sustainability, and she is also an established trend coach. She is a professional home and architecture psychologist and a qualified member of IWAP. She's also a member of the various very exclusive press circle, which is directly informed by the companies on the upcoming trends. Ms. Erica Micro.
And I also like to thank you for invitation to me and for all you that you have come live for wholesaler in Germany, selecting new products twice a year to every season. But in 2013 I stopped there and decided to do my own, what I like to do. And this is to become a trend coach. Okay, I try to do. Yes, a trend coach. Additionally, I made an education in what you said, home and living and architecture psychologist. So to find out and to source how people like decoration is also in our houses and our flats very important, because our nervous system and our hormone system needs to be stimulated. You can't live in a house or flat without any decoration. And every one of you and all over the world, because this is universal, decorate their homes in their way and in their communities. But you can't live without, otherwise we get really ill. So this is an announcement for you all, because you are doing decoration quite a lot. I don't want to talk a lot of trends anymore, because PJ did already. I can confirm all of that. What I am doing is I'm traveling around through whole Europe and looking what is coming up, because I think this is a special talent I have, to see and to find and to feel what is new, and that is very concrete. That is not the way like PJ did, how society developed. This is also very interesting, but what I do is very concrete one. So I can say the color yellow and the color brown, rusty brown and red and blue is coming up. And furthermore, I would like to say that it's not only one trend is coming up. So it's a huge variety of it. So there are so many needs the people have when they live. Everyone has another need and requirement. Think about a family or a single who starts to move into a flat. He has other requirements than a family with two young children, especially, or older people, people that are ill, that in hospitals, or which are what we call as dement. I don't know whether you know this, when you forget everything in your age. But what I can really confirm is how important nature really is. This is not a matter of only of material, it's just to look outside, as PJ said, the sun, but also looking into green or on a sea, something like that. On that, we recover very, very quickly again. This is very important also to touch in the living psychology. It is also very important to have social interactivism. You shouldn't live alone. you need persons to live with you and to get into contact. So what is, this is only in short for that, because everyone is maybe also tired, because speech extending more than 20 minutes is really much. So I want to shorten it, and I just want to offer you, if you have any question, please contact me. I'm here at the fair until tomorrow night, and we can make a meeting and you can have a look, and we'll talk about it. Okay, thank you very much. If there's any question right now, thank you for that. And
Could you also tell them where will you be available in the fair? So that
I'm walking around, but I already gave out the small leaflet. There's my contact details on. You can reach me also by phone or by email, and we can make an appointment here. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I'm shortening it up very, to make it very short, but I think it was a whole thing we got presented.
yes, thank you. PJ was very comprehensive in his presentation. Yes.
Took a lot, and he brought a lot for you, everything. Okay, thank you, and at last I would say Happy Diwali.
Thank you so much.
This was only a short one.
But it was short and sweet, and I think we all go back inspired to be more